Fame has honored members from small towns all over the world. This year it can add Foam Lake, Saskatchewan, home to Bernie Federko. Foam Lake is a town of almost 1,200 people located 250 kilometers from both Regina and Saskatoon. It was in this small town where big dreams were born.
The guys that I went to the rink with every day, you know, you get the bag on your back and it's 40 below and it's snowing like crazy, but you still walk the 3 or 4 blocks to the rink and as if it didn't matter. You didn't have to worry about it because that's what you wanted to do. So, I mean, those are such beautiful memories and I mean, I'm forever indebted, you know, to Foam Lake for giving me the opportunity to be able to play at the level that I was able to achieve.
People in St. Louis would probably still wonder where Foam Lake is. But in 1976, when he was chosen 7th overall by the Blues, Bernie had to get out the atlas to find out where St. Louis was.
And I really didn't know that much about St. Louis because, you know, growing up, there wasn't a lot of television coverage as far as those teams that were expansion teams. So I really didn't know where I was going.
Bernie had what people refer to as soft hands, and he used his abilities to become one of the best playmakers in the NHL. Bernie enjoyed scoring goals. He recorded 369 of them in the NHL, but unlike so many other players, Bernie took even more enjoyment out of assisting on his teammates' goals.
I just took great pride in wanting to make plays. I really believe that even now, I mean, it was more important for me to see the guys around me score goals than for me to score a goal. And yeah, it's always nice to score a goal, but I took such great pride in wanting to be the setup man.
On the receiving end of many of Federko's assists were Wayne Babych and Brian Sutter. As the Blues rose to prominence in the NHL in the early 80s, they were carried by the line of Babych, Sutter, and Federko. St. Louis finished 2nd overall in 1981, with Federko engineering the breakthrough by feeding his teammates.
We just had that knack for knowing where each other was, and I think that as the years went on, we you know, I didn't have to look for them. I knew where they were going to be. I knew where Brian was going to be. I knew, just had that sense that I could find these guys on the ice, and that's kind of why we developed such a great relationship.
Centering one of the best lines in the game should have brought a greater level of recognition to Bernie, but by playing in St. Louis in an era before easy access to satellite television and highlight shows, he didn't get the acknowledgement he would have playing elsewhere. When Bernie retired in 1990, he led the Blues organization in every offensive category, and even today, still is the team's all-time leader in assists and points.
To have those numbers there and to be able to say that I was consistent and that I was counted on, not by only just my teammates and the coaching staff, but by all the people, all the fans, and you know, I still feel very proud about that, and I still, you know, see people every day on the street that still remember, you know, those days and those nights at the old arena in St. Louis, and they were big fans of mine and the team, and I'm very, very proud of all those things.
Bernie Federko began playing hockey in Foam Lake, Saskatchewan, and played all but one of his 14 NHL seasons in St. Louis. He becomes the first true St. Louis Blues player to be inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame. And the Hall also welcomes the town of Foam Lake. The Hockey Hall of Fame is pleased to induct Bernie Federko in the player category.
Thank you, Bill. As you can see, I've been having this smile off my face since I got that call in June, so it's been quite a ride. But first of all, I would like to congratulate Clark and Roger and Rod. It's truly an honor for me to be in the class of 2002 with such fine gentlemen. My sincere thanks to the selection committee for the privilege to stand here today. I didn't realize a phone call could be this exciting. Mr. Hay, Mr. Gregory, I will never forget that call. This is beyond words to even describe. But as I said in the video, I was very, very lucky to grow up in the town of Foam Lake. I failed to mention on the video that it was uphill both ways, too, when I was walking to the rink. But Foam Lake was a small town with a big heart, and I have to thank each and every person that was part of my growing up there in Foam Lake. Towns like it are the heartbeat of our game, and I'm very proud to come from such honest roots. Through Father Phil Fenrich, I was able to get a tryout in Saskatoon, and I thank Father for that first big step. I spent 3 great seasons in Saskatoon playing for what I think is the best junior coach of all time, Jackie McLeod. Jackie had a system for every system, and he taught me so much about the game, something that I'd really never been taught before, and I want to thank Shaky very much. I also want to thank the Saskatoon Blades and the Western Hockey League, and also the great people of Saskatoon for being such an important part of my life. I still remember draft morning in 1976. I caught a call from Jerry Eman to tell me that I was drafted by the St. Louis Blues. And then I got the call from the man that really gave me the opportunity to play the game that I really loved, Mr. Emil Francis. Never have I ever met a man that had such that burning desire inside of him to win. Even when I see him now, and I talked to him last night a little bit, I can feel that fire, and I can see it in his eyes. And it was the trait that I tried to take to the game every night. Mr. Francis, I'll forever be indebted for you. Thank you for putting your faith in my ability. I really appreciate it. My family really appreciate it as well. I'd like to thank the coaches that I played for, especially Barclay Plager. Bark was more than a coach to me. He was a best friend. I know he's not here with us today, but I know he's somewhere up there watching right now. And I know he's got a big smile on his face. And I know he's still got a lot of pride in that heart. Bark pushed me to be the best possible player that I could be, but better yet, he pushed me to be the best man I can be. And I thank him and I miss him. I never played one game by myself, so to all my teammates, to all my roommates on those long trips, I know I saw Millsy coming in, Joey Mullen. Thanks, guys, for all the friendship and all the guidance you gave me throughout the years. And I want you all to know that none of this would be possible without any of you beside me. I also want to thank the behind-the-scenes people, the equipment trainers, the medical trainers, and all the doctors that kept us glued together. It's very important, and we really, really appreciate all you've done for us. Thanks to the St. Louis Blues, 13 years on a team that was everything to me. I will always have the Blue Note tattooed on my heart, and I really appreciate everything they've done for me. I also want to thank the great fans of St. Louis that are still a great big part of me, and I also want to thank the city that I call home. St. Louis, this bud's for you. I also want to thank the current Blues organization for allowing me to be a part of the game still. I know the Lorries are here, the Plows, the Sowers, Jim Woodcock. Thanks for being with me here today. I also like to thank the Detroit Red Wings and Mr. and Mrs. Illich for treating me with the same class in my 1 year in Detroit. Mom and Dad, you don't know how happy it is for me to have you guys here today. Thank you for all the sacrifices you made for us, all those long trips to Saskatoon, never missing a game, 300 miles round trip, and every game in Saskatoon, 3 years, and then 3 years when Kenny was there. But thank you for all your love, your support, the education you gave us, and the faith in God that you gave us. My older brothers, Ron and Don, you saw the picture of them with their arms beside me. Thanks for always picking me last in all those backyard games with my friends. I guess I really showed you guys. To my younger brother, Kenny, thanks for the great friendship, all the great talks that we had with all our experiences in hockey. And it's great to have 3 brothers that you can call best friends. To all the family and friends that made the long trek to be with us here in St. Louis, and if you were around the hotel the last few days, you saw a lot of them. You know, I can't mention all their names, but they're very, very special to us. They're our second family, and we love you dearly. Thanks for being here with us. To our sons, Jordy, Dusty, and Drew, watching you grow up has been the highlight of my life. The joy that you brought your mother and I is hard to explain, and I hope that you look at this day with the way I look at it as one of the most special days of my life, and it's because of you that it's even more special. To Bernadette, the love of my life, my best friend, I love you dearly. Thanks for being everything for Jordy, Dusty, and Drew, and this is as much for you as it is for me. In closing, I've always thought I was the luckiest guy in the world. This weekend and this moment has really proven that. I want to thank the National Hockey League for allowing me to be part of the greatest game in the world, and I want to thank the good Lord for allowing me to succeed. I will always be so very grateful, and I only hope that I can live up to the reputation and the spirit of all these great players etched in glass behind me and etched in your hearts forever. Thank you very much.
Time back in June, Bernie Federko got the word that he would be inducted into the Hall of Fame in Toronto. The induction, of course, occurred last Monday night. It was exciting to be there, to be sure, and this is exciting here tonight as Bernie Federko is honored in front of his home fans. Let's toss it now to the public address announcer, Tom Calhoun.
Blues fans, on Monday, Bernie Federko is inducted as the first true Blue into the Hockey Hall of Fame. Please welcome retired number 24, Bernie Federko. Joining Bernie tonight are his wife, Bernadette, and sons, Dustin and Drew. Another son, Jordan, is away at college. Bernie Federko played 1,000 games in the NHL, collected 1,130 points, and was the first player in NHL history to record at least 50 assists in 10 consecutive seasons. Bernie had 4 100-point seasons with the Blues and holds a host of Blues career scoring records, many of which may never be broken. Bernie and his family have made St. Louis their home, and for that, we're a better city. And though Bernie never played in Savas Center, we'd like Bernie to have a permanent place of residence in our new home. Please welcome Blues team owners Nancy and Bill Laurie, who will present to the Federko family a Harry Weber designed sculpture of Blues Hall of Famer Bernie Federko, with a life-size statue of this sculpture to be unveiled later this season in Savas Center.
Thank you very much. This last week has been the most exciting week of my life, my family's life. It's so hard to put into words what this last week has done, but I think that being back here in St. Louis now is really the icing on the cake. I've been so fortunate and so blessed to be able to spend all this time here in St. Louis. I've been so lucky to have the support of all you great fans. I've been so lucky to have the support of the St. Louis Blues organization for all these years. I said it a couple of times the other night, this is home to us. This means so much to our family. And to be honored as a member of the St. Louis Blues, that makes me so proud to be a member of the Hockey Hall of Fame, to represent not only the St. Louis Blues, but this great city that we live in. I did say it the other night, I will say it again, St. Louis, this bud's for you, and I forgot to say this jacket, this coat, and this honor is for you too. Thank you very much. Forever.
Congratulations, Bernie Federko, class of 2002, member of the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Well, quite a ceremony, and this crowd excited on Bernie Federko night. Long awaited, number 24, hanging from the rafters here as it has been, but now Bernie Federko, a member of the Hockey Hall of Fame. We're expecting a big night of hockey. The Blues, the Leafs, coming up next.
A smart puck handler gives it to Federko out in front. Shoots. He scores! Bernie Federko again on the power play. Picking that up was Reed. Now a centering pass broken up, and Federko has a breakaway. Federko in the clear. And on goal. He scores!